Welcome to another edition of the Don's Rate a Record. Today we're going to rate a record that came out in 1964, and a song that Elvis had sung prior to that on an album called Potluck. It was called Suspicion, and oddly enough, it was not a hit because it was never released as a single for Elvis at that time. And what happened was, in '64, around April, the song came out, and it was a big hit for an unknown called Terry Stafford. A lot of people thought first it was Elvis, maybe using a kind of a phony name, kind of like what the Four Seasons did with the Wonder Who. But it turns out Terry Stafford covered Suspicion, and actually, it's in my opinion the only song anyone else ever did of Elvis's that was really better. Not that Terry Stafford's voice was better than Elvis. The arrangement was very unique. It had an organ type of instrument that was developed in 1941 in France. It was almost like a synthesizer. And in the arrangement, when Stafford's record came out, it almost sounds like muted trumpets. It's a great record. Now, Terry Stafford really didn't have much success after that with the bands or releasing other songs. But he was a songwriter, and he did write a number of songs, one for Buck Owens called Big in Dallas, and another song that he recorded, Amarillo by Morning, which was a big, huge hit for George Strait. Anyway, Terry Stafford, and I always liked this song, and I would fool too back in '64. By the way, the Beatles at that week held the top 5 positions. Terry Stafford's Suspicion was at 6. And within a week, he jumped into 3rd position. The only person to beat the Beatles out like that up until later on. So anyway, let's listen to Terry Stafford.
You know, I cheated this man by about 3 inches. He's 6 feet 3 inches tall, weighs 200 pounds, is 21 years of age, and a whale of a looking guy. The song is called Suspicion. Ladies and gentlemen, our guest, Mr. Terry Stafford.
Every time you kiss me, I'm still not certain that you love me. Every time you hold me, I'm still not certain that you care. Though you keep on saying you really love me. Do you say the same words to someone else when I'm not there? Suspicion haunts my heart. Suspicion keeps us apart. Suspicion. Why talk to me? Every time you call me and tell me we should meet tomorrow, I can't help but think that you're meeting someone tonight. Why should our romance just keep on causing me such sorrow? Why am I so doubtful whenever you call us apart? Suspicion torments my heart. Suspicion keeps us apart. Suspicion. Why talk to me? Darling, if you love me, I beg you wait a little longer. Wait until
fellow, I feel like a short fellow. Come over and sit down for a second, won't you? Make yourself at home. Terry, where do you hail from?
Amarillo, Texas, originally.
I should have known. I grown big in Texas. I had a funny feeling that maybe you were from the Los Angeles area. Have you lived here a long time?
About a year and a half, actually, up.
Okay. He had a great voice. And so he went on to have quite a few hits. It's a shame. He was born in 1941. By the way, he died only at 54, 1995. Had he been born a little sooner, around Elvis's time, 1935, he would have been a big hit. Now, he didn't blatantly try to imitate Elvis. He grew up in Texas. He, of course, idolized Buddy Holly and Elvis. And he was asked about if he tried to impersonate Elvis. He said, well, look, he listened to a lot of Elvis and maybe, he picked up some phrasing. But you could see his voice stood on its own. Terry Stafford, a really great song. And the only song I know of that anybody ever had a better hit than Elvis. By the way, Elvis only, what happened to RCA when they heard his voice, RCA heard this, they rushed out Elvis's 45, and it only sold 200,000 copies. The worst selling 45 ever of Elvis Presley. Terry Stafford. He was good. Okay, join me next time for another edition of the Don's Raider Record.